ordinary people, everyday people can put content up, and this stuff gets heavily consumed, and it doesn't encourage us as the general public to go out and learn stuff. You know, it doesn't encourage that, and I think that it's such a shame because education, I don't mean school and college and uni. I mean the process of learning. It's a huge part of life, and the thing is, some of the most successful people in the world don't even have A levels. Or let's say, yeah, some of the most successful people in the UK, because obviously, A levels are relevant to the UK.
Yeah.
Some of the most successful people in the UK don't have A levels. You know what I mean? And, we could name a few of the key ones, but they went out sort of 16, 17. They left school even a bit younger sometimes. They started working. They worked for maybe a family business or, did something small, started in their bedroom or in their garage and just grafted. And what did they do? They spoke to people. They networked. They made investments. They took risks. These are skills for life. Do you know what I'm saying? But you can't learn that reading a textbook and taking an exam.
Yeah.
You have to go out and get your hands dirty and graze your knees and, get some proverbial slaps in the face, and you just got to go out there, and as you're doing it, you're learning. Do you know what I'm saying? As you're doing it, you're learning, and then
I think the culture's changed now, isn't it? Because now I'm thinking, when you think about the culture today, it's very much just airheads in the nicest way possible.
yeah.
And so then you think about the role models of our culture, and then you think about the kids in state schools, and you see mirroring. It's literally
scary, man.
It's literally one for one.
It's scary.
And you would because it's actually a good point when you think about or ask kids who are your role models and who do you look up to, you see the mirror.
Absolutely.
There's no way your role model can be Gandhi, let's say, and you're a hateful person.
Oh yeah.
Like there's always a mirroring with, and so maybe the issue isn't, well, maybe the issue is them, the role models themselves.
But then I think it's how far back do you trace it? Because I think about this current generation of teenagers, and for many of them, their parents are in my age group. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think about the influences we had when we were teenagers, pre-teens and teenagers, and a lot of the influences weren't good. Do you know what I'm saying? But then, do we then go back to these teenagers' grandparents or their great-grandparents? Like, how far back do we go? Do you know what I'm saying? It seems that with every generation, there is a, what's the word I'm looking for? Degradation? Is that the right word? Of just morals, intellect, emotional intelligence. It dilutes, these things dilute every generation. And I really try to resist doing this, but the generation above, they always look down. You kids today, you don't know. And I really try to resist doing that because I know that I heard that from the generation above me when I was a kid. And I understand a little bit about why that happens. Because, again, it does come back to the medias of the world, and it does come back to how we socialize and how we entertain and amuse ourselves. That's a massive part of it. Because now, and I think the pace of life doesn't help as well, because now, work's hard, bruv. Work's hard, you know what I'm saying? You get up, and I'm a teacher, so I know for 6 to 8 weeks, I've just got to go in. Do you know what I mean? Get up early, leave school late, and it's all about, my lessons, my marking, my assessments, you know, meetings and training and CPD and whatever it is, and it's go 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 go, and then you get to sort of 6, 7, 8 weeks, and then boom, you get a half term, or boom, you get a 2-week end of term, and there is a temptation to just dumb out, or even in the evenings.
Yeah.
You know, work can be really fast paced. It can be really stressful, and there's a huge temptation in the evenings or in the holidays to just veg out.
Yeah.
Just binge till your heart's content, and just not literally just don't think, or think as little as possible. But that time that you're not at work, you're still a functioning, breathing, thinking person. You can't waste that time just being a vegetable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't, because that's where things start to go wrong.
But the scarier thing is that, like you said, that's the case for a lot of working people, and they can use that as, excuse is probably the wrong word, but as maybe a reward. I've worked, like you said, so hard. I just need some time to just relax. The issue is with the youth that don't have that intensity, where actually most of their time is amusement, and there isn't much work. And that's the scary
But learning's work.
It is. Of course it is. And it can be stressful. But the time given to it for an average student is not comparable.
Oh, of course not. No.
Because it's voluntary. Because there's a thing about work where I don't work, I don't eat. And if I don't eat,
I die.
So there's a grind to it because of the need.
Yes.
Whereas for a lot of young people, they can't see
the
need. And so there's not really much hard work being put into it. I mean, there is for those who need to get the C and they're slacking, and those who want to get the A stars to get to Russell Group. But then you got the in-betweens that are comfortable with the B, that really just put in enough effort to coast, which means a lot of time is spent on entertainment and just
massively
vegetabling out.
And even for the kids who are aspiring to the 7s, 8s and 9s, that'd be the A star,
forgot it's changed,
A star, A, B, whatever it is in old money. They veg out too. But again, but I bring it back to that key word of balance. It's funny because I remember a few years ago, this is when my form, who were my form, they were in maybe year 8 or year 9, and it's funny, I see them now running around. They're in year 11, and I remember talking to them quite heavily at that time, and I kept saying to them, balance. And then one of the kids, every time he saw me in the corridor, sir, balance. But it's true, like, don't get me wrong, they have moments where you do veg out, and you don't think you know, you binge watch some of your favorite episodes, or you listen to some music, or you're just on social media, or you just chit chat with friends. Have that, because it's a part of life. But it has to be in healthy balance with the other things that you do.
The balance is never right, though.
The balance is never right.
Because you get time, and you would probably know more than me, exam month, exam week.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's binging studying.
Yeah.
And you think, bro, you had 3 years.
Yeah.
2 years. Where's the year and a half gone?
Yeah.
The balance was the other way.
Absolutely.
And then now the last month, the last week, the balance is not.
Absolutely. But I think this is where kind of observing the natural world really helps. I read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Amazing book. Highly recommend it. And he was talking about this very thing, sort of binging, balance, and he took an analogy from farming. And he said, right, imagine a farmer, all summer, he just relaxed. He didn't do anything. He didn't plant any seeds. He just did nothing. And then towards the end of the summer, he went out, quickly planted a few seeds. That's the binging. And then, you know, when it came to time for harvest, he's expecting a full crop. It's not going to happen, is it? It's exactly the same thing with studying, even with working. If you spend the vast majority of your time just relaxing, chilling, slacking off, coasting, and then, exam month or the deadline at work, and then you're cramming, it's late nights, you know, you're burning the candle at both ends. Even if you're successful, you're not as successful as you would have been if you would just balanced it out more evenly, spread it out more evenly across the time that you actually had. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying to my students, and it's really difficult to teach languages in certain parts of the UK because, again, kids don't see the need to learn a language. And to be fair though, to start to learn a language at 11 years old is actually really hard, to be fair. But that's another point. But I often say to my students, typically when they're in year 10, but this year I've started saying it from when they're in year 7. I'm like, guys, your GCSE is 5 years. When you're in year 10, the GCSE itself is 2 years. Right? It starts in year 10, it ends at the end of year 11. But now I've started saying to the year 7s, right, you're heading towards your GCSE. You've got 5 years. Take my advice. Blah, blah, blah. X, Y, Z. Follow my instructions. Do your homework. X, Y, Z. But again, it's one of the keys, you said it earlier. People don't see the need. And if you feel you don't have a choice, you're not going to invest. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think the skill is also, when you said that you've got 5 years to do your GCSEs, the secret ingredient that a lot of, and I think kids, they know, it's just something they need to know, because that's the only skill that you need to be successful. If I can boil down one piece of advice in terms of how can I do well in my exams, give yourself time.
Yes.
Because you got 5 years.
It's a long time.
It's a long time to space it out.
Absolutely.
5 years, you can do 2 hours, hour and a half. 2 weeks, you're going to have to do 10, 15 hours.
Yeah.
But time was the factor.
Yeah.
And if they can really know that I've got time on my side, I think a lot more people can get B's. I think I think a lot more people can get A's than people think.
Absolutely.
The issue is
100%. I'd say give yourself time and be consistent.
Yeah.
If you can master those two attributes, you're the king of the world.
Yeah. Time and consistent. And again, those are things that you learn even afterwards.
That's it.
Where if you didn't go uni and you took those years out, you would really know.
Oh yeah.
that
Fully.
time and consistency is the principles of everything.
Absolutely. But again, like, it's a lot of that gets missed because people just don't see the need.
Yeah.
Why am I at school? I don't want to be here. This is boring. So you're an idiot.
Yeah. Which is why I think if I could, I would make schooling voluntary. I know that's
unpack that because I'm interested. I think I see where you're going, but let's go.
The same way that you said after A levels, I took a break. 6 years later, I realized it's time. Now I come into it and I'm in. You don't need to tell me to go to the library. I'm there. You don't need to tell me to come on time. I'm there.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell me to do extra work. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
If you had been thrown in 6 years ago, you would not have done all of that.
Yeah.
I think it's French or for France or the USA where you don't move up by age, you move up by stage.
Yeah. France has a thing where if you fail the year, you retake it, and I think you can retake the year up to 2 or 3 times.
I love that idea.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because again, when you then see the need, because if you know you're in the conveyor belt, where regardless of what I do, I'm off to the next one. Then the pressure isn't there to actually fix up. Because I remember, we in the UK we have that only for sixth form. So if in year 12 you don't, I don't know how it is now because it's together, but AS in year 12, if you didn't make it, you would stay back to redo it.
Right.
And so I remember in that gap, a lot of us went through, and a lot of our friends didn't make it. And so then there's the chasm, because I'm looking in year 13 down at my year. You're still year 12. We're the same age, but you're year 12. And then I'm in year 13 with people who didn't make it to uni that are redoing. And you see the difference where once when they were actually meant to be in year 13, mucking around. Now they're back a year, they're banging it out, and my friends are banging it out because.
But it's funny because I've had students of mine, when I explain in French, you say redoubler is basically to retake, because the word comes up in the GCSE vocabulary, and I'm like, oh, so what does that mean? So I explained a little bit about what it means and how it works, and I've had students say, no word of a lie, sir, I wish we had that here because it would make me work harder. And this is one area, if ever there's an MP or even the Prime Minister listening to this thing, this is one area we are getting it wrong. We put kids on a conveyor belt, literally from 3 years old. You just go through. It doesn't matter what you do. I'm seeing shocking handwriting, kids who've got reading ages way below where they should be. Some kids are borderline illiterate. And they're in Key Stage 4. And they're just going through by age. It's wrong. I would say it's wrong. There needs to be something more of a standard or an incentive or some kind of structure in place. If you don't make a certain grade, you don't progress to the next year. And I think that's where the powers that be are at fault. Because the kids have no control over that. Do you know what I'm saying? They have no control over that.
And then the second thing is, if I had a school that I was able to run however I wanted to, if a student comes to me and says, "Oh, sir, I didn't want to be here," right, see you later.
Okay, go. I agree, 100%.
See you later.
100%.
And come back when you're ready.
100%.
I'm not letting you in. And I'll let it in for anyone. So if it's stage, not age, then it'll be such an interesting dynamic to see. And also it'll be humbling, but you're year 4 and see a 15-year-old there. Because now he's realised, after 5 years or whatever years of mucking around, actually, no, I need these grades. So he goes in, I like to go back into school. Let's do an assessment. Oh, actually, your assessment says you're in year 4, mate. So you're going to have to... Okay, cool. So now he's there with all the kids. And he might see a couple 16-year-olds around him and, and then at least every teacher knows I'm walking into a room
with people that want to learn. It's funny because there's actually a school like that. I don't know if it's still around. I think it's called Summerhill School. Somewhere
here in England?
In England, yeah. It's obviously a private school. I read the book. I've got it at home. I'm sure it's called Summerhill. And it's literally that concept. It's a boarding school. I think it's a boarding school. But anyway, kids get dropped off, or they turn up, and you're given a timetable of lessons and where to be. You go if you want.
That's it.
And what they found is really interesting. They found that from the ages of 5 until about 12, kids are really engaged. They will go to every lesson. They will try everything, and they'll generally make a really good effort. Obviously, they're given that choice. They get to the mid-teen phases, sort of early teens to mid-teens. So typically from about 12, 13 up until they're about 15 or so. And, they will sort of keep bad company. They might bunk. They'll smoke. They will, do a bit of drinking. They'll sort of, they won't go to lessons. They'll be moody. Then they'll get to about 14, 15. They'll pick what they want to study, and they excel.
Wow.
And what the book was saying is that a lot of people, obviously they didn't name people, but a lot of people that went to Summerhill School, I'm sure it's Summerhill, they went on to be successful CEOs and founders of companies here in the UK.